No, Lord, the bear has some form. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other question I have for you guys is which Bible character?
Welcome to the talk show. Where we're kicking it and having fun on inspirational radio. We're the talk show. Kicking it and having fun. So turn your radio up.
Do you guys relate to the most, and why? And I'll give you guys a second to think about it because I know I asked y'all in the green room, but we ain't had a chance to think about
I already
it.
know.
Oh, okay. Who's you? Peter.
Unquestionably. Absolutely no doubt about it. Like 1,000% that. So definitely, I've got a revelation of who God is in general and who he is in my life. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, I'm very no nonsense about a lot of things, and like even to a point of radicalism and certain things. That's why I don't get involved in a lot of causes and stuff, because you get me involved, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something. Like don't call me out here if the people is messing with you, and if you don't,
you ain't ready.
I'm not gonna stand by and just let it happen. The other day, my wife had a nail in her, or a screw in her tire. She told me about it, and then the next day, so I made sure, I got up there to her job that morning, and then I said, well, follow me over here to the tire shop. I knew it was a tire shop right over there by our job. And we got over there to the tire shop, and they was packed already at like 7, 8 in the morning. Like they was already packed out. And so she was waiting to pull in, and this SUV pulled in and was finna pull right in front of her. And I stepped in front of the truck and I said, man, what are you doing? Like, what you on this morning? Like, what made you think you could just do this? Mm-hmm. And he's looking at me, trying to act like he didn't know English, but he knew exactly what I was saying and exactly what I was going to do. And he backed up because, like, it killed me. If you feel that strongly about it, go ahead and kill me. Space, because that's what it's going to take. If you don't move this truck, somebody's going to die. But
there's going to be some
it was going to be some problems,
some repercussions.
Repercussions.
So
I know. So Peter is funny and he's Dion. Man, see, and then he the comedian. Look at that. See, it's got some storylines running together.
Man, that's how I get down.
He said something's gonna happen now. Don't call me if you want no action. If you call for
me,
don't
do it.
Now I would say I have a couple of different stories, and there's one particular line that every time I read it in the Bible, it always makes me excited because I have certain standards. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. And the particular one with the Hebrew boys getting thrown in the fire. They say, "Listen up, King. God able to deliver us, but even if He don't, just know this: we ain't never bowing to you." Oh man, get the thing 7 times hotter. We got to get them jokers. That king was so mad, but that's how I feel. Some stuff in life, I have such a strong stance. It's like God able to deliver me, but even if He don't, I'm not bound to what you say. I'm not doing none of that. I don't care what going on in the world. I don't care how you do. I don't care what laws you implement. It's some stuff I'm just not going to be a part of. I'm not going to do it. And if you get the fire 7 times hotter, so be it. He able to deliver me. But even if He don't, just know this: I'm not bound to you.
I'm still good.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's like one of my favorites.
So she's gonna die standing up.
Yeah, it's like even if He don't, there's some stuff I'm just gonna be what I'm gonna be, no matter what the laws, no matter what the people, no matter what they do. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. I have certain standards. That's it. And if I got to die, you just got to be died. You got to get 7 times. Well, we got to do what we got to do, because this is what it's gonna be over here. He able, even if He don't.
I see a theme here with the comedians. Y'all just ride or dies. Like y'all.
Oh,
y'all
no.
want to smoke.
Soldiers.
What'd you say? He said they don't want the smoke, huh?
Don't play with us.
For me, it's a toss-up between David and Solomon. And probably because I think their lives are so intertwined. But just a lot of, I think, my personal experiences, even my personal desires. I remember one of the times I went to the altar, the last time was after graduation at my church in Virginia. And there was a guest pastor that came in, and when he was praying over me, he was talking about, he said, I see that you have this desire for wisdom, and like you feel like you've made a lot of mistakes and like you've done, haven't made good decisions, up to this particular point. And when he said that, like I was inside having this turmoil where I wanted to make some different decisions in life, and I was questioning, some of the direction that I went in, and that made me really research a lot about Solomon, and his life and how he came in, which led to researching about David and his situations. And so I see a lot of different things in that I can relate to, I think, personally. And I do have this desire to be more wise, Solomon, like the two women that came, with the baby, and the lady was, her baby died, and just to think of how to, deal with a situation like that, you know what I mean? A lot of wisdom in that, and again, something that I personally I strive to. So I think for me, it would be Solomon, but David's like a close second. And I think, what is it, the generational things? Like I think David passed some stuff over to Solomon too. So
a lot of it.
Got to understand the father
to
understand the son.
Yes, sir. He inherited them women. I'll tell you that.
Right. Right. So, I think that's a fun exercise. But for our audience, like in the comments, definitely, tell us what what character in the Bible you relate to the most. Which one you think would be, the best comedian or fit in that, and tell us why. Like we want to hear what your thoughts are. Just something a little fun to think about. But the main purpose of that is just, when you start reading the Bible and just really putting yourself into those situations. Again, we talked about empathy a lot last show and this show. That's your ability to see yourself in those scriptures, and so it becomes less of just that Bible study that you learned in Sunday school, and it starts to become more of a real life situation. Like why? Like how would I react if I was in that situation? And have I reacted in that way before? And you start asking yourself some questions, and you start looking at it from people's different points of views. I know Bishop did this one time with the prodigal son. Like for years, like I've always heard people talk about, from the point of view of the prodigal son. But what about the father? What about the brother? Like there's other characters in there that, in Sunday school or just regular teaching, nobody really focuses on, but there's lessons and layers in all of it. And, the more you pull back, the more exciting and the more you see yourself in a lot of those situations. And when you start seeing yourself, you start getting some healing and some help with it too.
Dion, I think Sheldon pulled out the funniest one in the Bible. He gonna pull out a man got 900 women. That joke was funny. How in the world he had some tactics going. He got 300 girlfriends, 700 wives. That joker was full of, that joker had some jokes. Now, how you convince women? You're like, hey, Hey, now, I got about 800. I'm about 105, my goal.
We can all have a good time.
That Joker has some jokes entertaining 900 women.
I bet he had a big old bed.
He has some entertainment skills.
Did you say he had a big old bed?
Yeah.
I think Sheldon pulled out the funniest one while he up here playing.
Shaq bed.
His bed was a whole big room, you know what I'm saying? They custom.
The funniest one to me probably would be Jesus. Like Jesus, when he was messing with them Pharisees, boy.
he light them on fire though. He light them up.
He did. Like he had some ways about him. Like, oh.
Who do you say that I am?
Yeah.
Since you asking questions, what you say? Yeah. He would trip them up. They try to trip him up, and the tripper up got them tripped up. Like, oh, you gonna trip me up? Okay, I got something for you. Who do you say I am?
And one thing about y'all comedians, y'all quick with it. Like y'all witty. Like, when the audience say something or do something, like y'all got something real quick to respond with.
Oh yeah, Jesus was definitely quick with it. He was definitely quick on them toes. Try to get me trapped up.
He finessed through the crowd, you know what I'm saying?
Don't play.
Got real.
Don't play.
He could have probably stood there and and stopped the rocks, or what I'm saying, changed their mind, did a Jedi mind trick on them. But he was like, nah, let me just go on and get Ghost real quick, because I see this turning before I could really, somebody might throw a rock from behind or something. I don't want to get caught up. I'm gonna go on and make it.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely want to hear from the audience. Let us know, what y'all answers are to those questions. I think next week, Sonia and Dion, just kind of going back to the lady I saw on TikTok, she was talking about prayer. And I don't know what we're going to talk about, but maybe we talk a little bit about prayer, like what that really looks like. And
prayer is powerful.
Yeah, what that looks like and why. Again, there's a sect of people that, think that their prayers aren't being heard and not being answered. And, I think there's a story behind that, maybe as Christians, we don't really talk about as much. Story of belief. And there's a story of, God is talking to you. Are you really listening? Are you really doing what he, asks you to do? So, maybe next week we can dive a little bit into that. And, hopefully for, some non-believers that, got questions about that, or believers. I think there's some believers that got some questions about that.
Awesome.
Talk a little bit about that. So, y'all remind me next week if I start talking about something else.
You're talking about prayer.
Do you want a gentle reminder, or do you want, a real reminder?
However you want to do it, Peter. However you want to do it, Peter.
Hey, I was watching earlier Bishop Jakes. He was talking about keeping it 100. You know what I'm saying? He went in. He was like, yeah, you go to work, you mess around and get fired keeping it 100.
Yeah, he showed it. He said, you better keep it about 80 or 90.
Keep it 80 or 90.
Do I look fat in this? You better not come out there saying what you really think.
Don't be telling people to keep it 100 with you, because they will.
He said, you better keep it 80 or 90. You won't keep it no 100. What he said about the wife coming out there, baby, do I look big? You talking about look like two bears in a blanket fighting under a blanket. You can't say that and stay married.
Can't do it.
Baby, do I look fat? Yeah, you look like two bears been in a fight under that blanket. Yeah.
Baby, am I the best lover you ever had?
Yeah, he sure did.
Probably about the 4th or 5th, or maybe even the 10th, you know what I'm saying? But I just grin and bear.
Yeah, he sure said it.
Keep the peace. I say, man.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, they're keeping it 100.
That's what he said now. That's what he said. Don't do that. He said you ain't gonna have nobody.
He definitely telling the truth. Like, and especially in corporate. Because corporate America tell you all the time, yeah, we want to hear the truth.
And that's not the
100.
truth.
Okay. And as soon
I'm
as
not
you
gonna
give
tell
the
you the truth and keep my job.
Right.
It just ain't gonna happen.
What Jack Nicholson said, was it Jack Nicholson? You can't handle the truth.
Yes, sir. You can't handle the truth now. Most people cannot handle the truth.
At all.
That's the truth.
Shoot. Some of us, I mean, to ourselves. Sometimes we can't tell the truth to ourselves. Like,
Don't
we
play.
struggling with it.
Hey, don't play. You
But,
can't handle the truth.
So yeah. So however you need to, I'm gonna make a note of it right now, just in case, there might be something that pop up that, But I think it's something to talk through because, like I said, I think there's certain things that people struggle with and in private. And, sometimes I think as a church, we don't really do a good job of, really sharing what the real is, and what it really looks like. We say it from a religious standpoint. Again, we can definitely tell you what the Bible says about it, but sometimes I think people need to hear a testimony and need to hear just true things about prayer to understand not just prayer, but anything that we talk about when it comes to our relationship with God and with others. So.
Welcome to the talk show. Well, I'm kicking it and having fun. Inspirational.